live news shows with Evan Solomon and also Bassi, and on Power and Politics. And there he was, and they were grilling him, basically saying, she's a homophobe and a transphobe. Is this really what kind of party you're going to have? That you're going to run, someone like this? And he defended me. And he said, no, she's a Canadian woman. She has the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and she's able to believe anything she wants. And she doesn't want the school to impose teaching on her children that she doesn't believe in. And he says, and I, I support her on that. And Canada is free. And it was the first time I saw a politician speak so directly and courageously to this issue. And
how did they respond?
What did they say? What did they say in that interview, Laura-Lynn? What did they say in that interview? They were like, what?
Oh, they were very angry. Oh, they were hostile to Maxime. Like this is who you're running. Like, these transphobic, bigoted comments. Why are you having this? This is really who you want. And he, again, with Evan Solomon was the worst too. He is a nasty son of a gun boy on CTV. He is nasty, nasty, nasty. He had a mean look in his face. And he was just really raking Maxime over the coals. And Maxime said the same thing. No, she has the right to what she believes in. This is Canada. And he stood on the Charter of our Rights and Freedoms. Wow, what a novel idea, And it's just beyond me why more people can't just simply stand on that God has given us. Under the supremacy of God, this nation should be free. But because we're all quiet, because we're all afraid, because we have all been very, maybe somewhat lulled into a very, a life thinking that we do have these freedoms, we thought we had more freedom than we actually do, is what I'm seeing. And now the noose is tightening. And I'm just so grateful that people are beginning to see from across the country, and they are beginning to wake up. But these conversion therapy bans that they put into St. Albert, Fort McMurray, Edmonton, Vancouver, Prince Edward Island, and still now they're moving into more places. Like, these are dangerous things that are saying if a pastor prays for someone who is gender confused or struggling with an unwanted same-sex attraction, that praying for them can land them a $10,000 fine. It was $60,000 before, but they've come out with the one that's approved, $10,000, and they can lose their license if they keep doing it, and then they will face jail time. Oh, you just keep praying for people, so you're going to jail. We've literally come to that place. That is unbelievable,
Ontario too, I think. Did it pass the legislature in Ontario? Do you know?
That I've heard. I haven't heard about an actual ban passing there. So they're going through municipalities.
Right.
So it would probably pass like maybe in Toronto or something like that.
Toronto.
First.
And also Maxime Bernier's new enlightenment about abortion. He asked you to write his party abortion plank, didn't he?
Yep, he did. He said, I told him I wanted to put forward a bill to end late-term abortion so that we could try to get collaboration between all parties. Even people in the Liberals that are pro-choice are not for late-term abortions. So we tried to find something we could collaborate on and get the very first bill passed. And we did write that. And after we put that out, nobody was asking any politicians about abortion, really. It was not a topic. Then someone in Quebec, a few reporters in Quebec, heard about our bill that myself and Paul Mitchell put forward. And they started asking questions in Quebec about this abortion thing. So then they asked Maxime, well, do you think, this late-term abortion thing is okay? And he said, well, I think it has to be debated. And they said, well, when do you think, that there should be a law and he said, they kept pushing him, and finally he said, well, if it's like 2 days before the baby's born and, that's a live baby, then I think that's infanticide and murder. Well, then the press blew up. Apparently he lost 10 points in his riding right off the bat. So like that made me feel bad, but these are the prices you pay for standing up for what's right. But he did all of that, you know, and he never recanted. He didn't, you know, it was just a hard thing. So then I cut and paste the French when I found out about it, which I didn't know about it. Maxime told me, we met him in Kelowna for a function that was going on there, and he said, Laura-Lynn, Laura-Lynn, he says, he can't say my name right, but he says, Laura-Lynn, I'm in so much trouble in Quebec. And I said, what happened, Mr. Bernie? And he said, well, you know, I said it's infanticide, a murder. I said, you did? And I said, you have to say that in English now. And so I went back to the hotel and I cut and pasted all the French articles, and I got the translations, and I cut and pasted them in English here. Next thing you know, everyone's questioning the politicians about abortion, and it really landed hard on Andrew Scheer about that. And then that's when we saw that he, you know, just got worse and worse, that they would block and oppose all legislation for the protection, that they would in fact, continue to fund abortions overseas, which, I mean, Stephen Harper never did. So that was a shock to me, again, that this party was compromising on something that we had always, like, you know, we hold the conservative parties to be the moral sort of bearers of the standard in our nation, and it wasn't happening. And so all of it, that this whole 2 years has just been a crazy experience. Like, who'd have thunk? You know, 3 years ago I was deliriously happy with not a care in the world.
Right. So, Laura-Lynn, we have in this room Pakistani Christian, Chinese Christian, Filipino Christians, plain old vanilla Christians. You know, what can we do? Okay, it's now December, wishing everyone a Merry Christmas, not Happy Holidays.
Yeah.
And then January, and then Policy Leadership Convention. I mean, what advice do you have for us, even in our circle of influence, wherever we work, our school, moms, dads, grandmas, grandpas? Letters to the editor?
I think on a general level, socially, we have to become more vocal, and not... If we're more vocal, at least we'll tell people, we'll say, you know, I just don't really think this gender thing's right. You know, you should try to have that conversation 3 or 4 times a week. Like, start just spreading the word. Be open and honest, because people will be more open and honest with you, because lots of them are struggling too. They feel that, you know, lots of people feel that they don't, lots of people feel that they don't believe in it either, but on the other hand, they don't want to be the odd man out, right? Mm-hmm. So we need to socially become a little bit more vocal, and you can do it in just baby steps, you know, but with a lot of wisdom, because jobs are at stake. So it is something, but I do know the Lord is causing us through this season to really press in and pray. And that is a beautiful thing. I mean, what could be better than that? That the Lord is showing people that, you know, pressing into Him and trusting Him, and having to actually pray with fervency over something is not what we're used to. So it's very good. We're beginning to see persecution. Yeah. It's not a bad thing. It helps us to stand.
Yeah. How can people follow you and your journey? Because you do a lot of teaching and educating, even like on Facebook, or how do they follow you?
Yeah, definitely Facebook and Twitter, Laura-Lynn Tyler Thompson. And and I have a website, lauralynn.tv, and then I'm starting my TV show back in the new year.
Yay!
So,
way to go!
Yay!
All the best.
Well, she's a great preacher, an evangelist.
Yes,
yeah, like that's what she did. You know, even when we had that little fundraiser at my house, right? You know, and then I said, Laura-Lynn, have you heard what they're doing in the schools? What are they doing in the schools? Laura-Lynn, Can Rose, would you be willing to pray for Laura-Lynn? Would that be okay? Because you're quite. Yeah. Can you see the lady? Can you see the lady in red?
See me here. No, she can't see.
Wait, can you see the lady in red?
No.
I can only see one screen that